Today's episode is sponsored by Dragon's Den, Games and Hobbies. You can visit them at 552 Main Street in Honesdale, PA, or call them at 570-647-4633.
The Dragon's Den, where gamers unite. Spice the owner in Honesdale under neon lights. Video games, board games, cards at every site. A haven for all, where fun takes flight. Come join the quest in this gaming paradise, where dragons roam free under endless skies. Adventure awaits with every roll of the dice. In Dragon's Den, where the magic never dies. From retro classics to the latest trends, dive into battles with allies and friends. Strategize your moves till the very end. In this realm of games, the fun never ends. Gather round for events galore, a place of joy like never before. Come join the quest in this gaming paradise, where dragons roam free under endless skies. Adventure awaits with every roll of the dice. In Dragon's Den, where the magic never dies. Unleashing the hive, metal duels will be waging. Join us on the journey, gaming is engaging. NDT Gaming, our mission never raging. From pixels to dice, we discuss it all. The thrill of victory, the bitterest defeats fall. Strategies, campaigns, and characters stand tall. I love for the games, both big and small. Through big souls and cards, our friendship will sprawl. Join us on the journey, gaming is engaging. Anything gaming, our mission never raging. Malaysian. From pixels to dice, we discuss it all. The thrill of victory, the bitterest defeats fall. Strategies, campaigns, and characters stand tall.
Welcome to another fantastic episode of NDT Gaming. What is going on, everybody? I am feeling feisty tonight. I'm in a good mood. I hope you guys are in a good mood too. Happy fucking Friday, gentlemen. How are you?
Good. How are you?
You know me. I'm in a good mood. I'm here. I'm home. I'm having a little sippy sip of a wonderful beverage to end my week properly. We're here to talk about some games. NES. No. Super NES. Super.
Get it right.
Super NES has turned 34 years old today.
How's that make you feel?
Oh, shit!
Bruh. I feel old. All right.
34 years old.
I feel old. Now, you know what's weird though is I've never owned an SNES. I went from Nintendo and Sega straight to PS1. That's what I went. I wasn't loved enough as a kid, I guess. I don't know. I'm just kidding. My parents loved me so much. They just didn't want to spend the money on me.
Hey, I love you enough to sell them. Now you can buy one off the web store.
Yes, guys, in case you didn't know, Dragon's Den has a new console called the Hyperkin. You can play all your old console games. It's fan-freaking-tastic. I've got the one that plays the NES games. All you need are the NES cartridges. This one right here that you see below will play SNES games. So, guys, if you are having trouble...
2-in-1. And Nintendo.
So if you have trouble finding yourself a console, an original console, or cheap enough, because they're hard to come by nowadays, people destroy them, okay? And they put a high bounty on them. So if you have trouble, make sure you get down to Dragon's Den on Main Street in Honesdale, PA. Get yourself a Hyperkin. I've got myself the Nintendo one. Plays just the NES games, but it's perfect, man. Fucking perfect.
You son of a bitch! I'm in!
I'm in, baby. It's a good time. So I really love mine. I gave it an honest review, man. Like I popped that goddamn game console or that game cartridge in, and it was good to go. Didn't have to blow on it, man. No foreplay. Maybe a little sad. You know, foreplay heats things up. It's really nice, but you didn't need any. Just pop that cartridge in. You're
Yeah,
good
but
to go.
technically that ruins the games.
Yeah. Technically, with all your saliva
Technically.
all over it and shit.
Yeah.
Does Google know I'm older than that?
I mean, generally, saliva all over everything is better for it. I mean, Haktua and shit, right?
Look at her. She's
I can
making like
kiss
$1
ya.
million.
Get over here.
She's made a ton of money off of that. I'll tell you what, man. I was talking about that today.
That's
Like
disgusting.
the dumb stuff people do to make a shit ton of money in this world. I'm doing something wrong. Really, anybody want to buy feet pics? I got feet pics for you. You hit me up, hit me in the DMs.
Sorry, nobody wants to
Would
see
you like to know more?
Listen, if you ever wanted feet pics from someone who's got hairy hobbit feet, let me know, man. If you're into Lord of the Rings and shit, let's go.
No, Corey.
I could probably find that OnlyFans video that I made.
Oh god, nobody wants to see that OnlyFans video. I think Jared updated it with real photos of me putting my clothes back on, though. Sorry.
It's all right.
All right, so why don't we get into actual gaming content now, guys? Since we've been a little bit riled up and a little crazy, mostly me. I'm sorry. I derail everything. Apologies. But what? Says times are hard. Got to do what you got to do. Goddamn right, man. If I could sell my feet pics, I would. 100%. If I could sell pedicure water, I would. Babe, feet pics now. Let's go. Doing it. All right.
Just don't tell her.
No, I think I have her on board.
All right.
She's at a point in her life where she's starting to agree with me. And if you're watching, babe, I love you. I love you. Don't kill me. All right. So, Mike. So, SNES. 34 years old today. Happy birthday, Super Nintendo.
Happy birthday to some people. This was the best Christmas they ever had. And Nintendo nailed it. I believe it was the Christmas season that brought out a majority of the games for this thing that everybody was like, oh my god, Super Nintendo, this thing's amazing. I remember E3 at the time. I remember that was one of those things where they did like a 10-year anniversary for it. And you got to really think back to the game museum of it. It wasn't a ton of games, not compared to the PS2 that had a couple hundred titles for it, but these had the memorable titles. This was Link to the Past coming out on this. This was Super Mario, where you had a cape and Yoshi's you got to have Yoshi with you on this adventure. This was Final Fantasy 2 that we've talked about before. This was the console that made a lot of people go, holy crap, this is amazing. Star Fox, Mario Kart. This was the birth of that whole generation too.
Yeah. That's fantastic, man. Final
Every
Fantasy
kid
2.
for Christmas wanted one. They knew it came out, August, and then they knew they only had to wait a few more months, and Christmas was going to roll out. Everybody and their brother wanted this thing.
Yeah, and I didn't know until just half an hour ago about the ad that came out for Super Nintendo that Jared dug up for us. That actually has a fairly famous actor.
So
playing the lead role in that.
We'll watch the video, and then if you guys in chat want to guess who this person is, I'll go ahead and play it.
Yeah.
When you decide to step up to this kind of power, this kind of challenge, this kind of flying, crashing, feeling, when you decide to get serious, there's only one place to come, the games of Super Nintendo. No one else creates this kind of experience, because no one else creates these kinds of games. Now you're playing with power, superpower.
So did anybody catch who that is?
Imagine how jacked up you were as a kid to see that commercial.
Well, remember the Mario commercial with all the kids chanting Mario, Mario, and then they do the zoom out in the world, and it made a giant picture of Mario. I said, well, there you go. That's Nintendo won.
Nintendo was the shit back in the day, man. They ruled everything. They really did. They hit it. Yeah, they are. I mean, and you know what, though? Nintendo is the family console. Nintendo is the one you get for your family to enjoy playing together.
Nintendo's fun.
Yeah, it's always been about every console they've had has pretty much been about family.
Yeah. I mean, I told you guys I just finished up Final Fantasy 2. You mentioned that one coming out on Super Nintendo. That was the first Final Fantasy on that. That was something else. That was something else.
I'll get around to it. But anyway, so those who did not pick up on the person that was in that ad. Now, granted, that was 1991. That it was a young Paul Rudd who played the Ant-Man in the Avengers. Made that debut. Well, I don't know if it was his debut, but he starred in that commercial in 1991. I don't know how old he was in that video, but
he had to be a teenager. I was 5 years old. I was born in '86.
Do you remember when Nintendo would have the things where if you couldn't beat a level or if you couldn't find something, you get to call Nintendo and they had some like nerd they'd patch you through to, and it would actually tell you like how to get like the white sword in Zelda, or like I'm stuck in Link to the Past. I don't know where to go. How do I get to blank? And they'll tell you how to do it.
No shit. Listen, man? Why don't gaming companies do that now? All right, I get it. You got the internet. But come on, how cool would that be? I'd fucking call someone.
He was 22 in that.
What was the biggest magazine back then? Nintendo Power.
Nintendo Power.
Kid screamed and cried in a grocery store because he wanted his mom to buy him a Nintendo Power. PSM wasn't even out yet, or Electronic Gaming Monthly wasn't even creeping out yet. Almost, but not there. I mean, that was Nintendo Power that everybody wanted to. That had the map lays out for Zelda Link to the Past. That had the map layout for Zelda, the gold cartridge one. That was you figured out how to beat, what was it? Tyson's Punch Out, I remember the first time rolling in from Nintendo, going to Super Nintendo and watching Mario for the first time, that Super Mario World. That was mind-blowing for what it was. That was crazy. The fact that he can fly now, he can do more than just shoot fireballs. Like it was nuts. It was beating all the Koopa kids. It was realizing that the sunken ship in Super Mario World was the airship that that Bowser had in like one of the first video games, was in the second or third one. I think it's the second or third one where he crashed that ship there. That's why he's in the world that he is. And the birth of Mario Kart.
That was a good one.
Dude,
look at Mario Kart and the birth of that and how crazy that is. There's worldwide competitions for Smash Bros, Mario Kart, and all that stuff. And then Mario Kart got its start on the Super Nintendo. That was the start of a lot of things.
Man, Smash Bros has its own convention because I went to that a few weeks ago, and that was huge.
But that was not Super Nintendo. That was
That was N64, yeah. But
the next one that came out.
Crazy, man.
Yeah.
But man, you talk about Nintendo Power. I used to have strategy guides for everything, man. That was it back then. I thought I was the coolest kid on the block just for getting a strategy guide.
Oh, and that was a cool thing about that convention. So all the vendors and stuff like that, there was a lot of different ones, but people had these strategy guides for sale, for $10-15. Some were in good shape, some were worn, but you know how awesome, I was going through them. If I could find all of the Final Fantasy strategy guides just to have on display,
my God, that would be amazing. Now that's a collection I could get behind, man. I had the original Final Fantasy strategy guide for the NES, and I'll never forgive the dog I had back then for fucking it up, man. She chewed the entire bottom right corner of that goddamn strategy guide. I hated her for that. I loved the dog. She was a great dog, but she chewed it up and pissed me off, man. Pissed me off. What's up, Robbie? How you doing tonight, man? We're talking video games. Super Nintendo is 34 years old today. Happy birthday, Super Nintendo. Does anybody watching the show now or after the fact of the recording have a Super Nintendo still? Please make sure you comment below. Everybody else, if you are watching right now, you are hanging out, having a good time, make sure you click that like button, click that share button, invite all your friends to come hang out with us tonight. We are just chit-chatting about Super Nintendo, and we're eventually going to get to the Diet Coke E3, as so dubbed by Mike here.
Yeah, we'll pick up on a few other games.
Yeah, maybe, probably.
Not related to the NS or SNES, but we'll get there.
But I mean, it is its birthday. So while I never really owned it, I do know a bunch of the titles, and I may or may not have played some on emulators and shit. So, I mean, I know about them. So why don't we start with something like this, guys? What was your favorite Super Nintendo game? I mean, it seems like a common one, to ask about the consoles. What's your favorite?
Comment in chat, but I liked. So Earthworm Jim was good. There was this game, and I don't know if you remember it, Mike. Out of This World.
I remember that. That game was creepy.
It was.
Tell me about Out of This World. I don't know this one.
It's like a linear game. You were pretty much, I don't know, being chased by this black wolf or something like that. But you were like going on, like swinging on vines and trying to escape.
You got transferred to another world. You got like zapped from a computer thing because you were doing like some work on a computer the one night because it was one of those big, huge, like the room was the computer things, you know, like that it is now. And you got zapped and you got transported to another world. And there's these like little like leech thingies with things that would hit you. You only had like one life because if you got hit once, you're dead. And you had to squish these things, and like this big wolf is chasing you throughout like the first part of the game, and you run into these like pale aliens, and they save you, but then they take you captive, and then you have to get out of it. And it's nuts. It's this whole weird puzzle game.
I have a
So it's like an entire game that's made in the same fashion as the Battletoads level, where you're running from the boulder. You have to constantly run from something.
Well, you had to like
that's like a core memory for me, man.
You had to get out of prison. It was hard. It was Nintendo hard. It was like those things where you had to get like a Nintendo power to kind of figure it out because nobody else could. Yeah, there it is.
I love the graphics.
Push that leech.
What?
Wait. There it is. That scared the crap out of you as a kid. Yep. Yep. You gotta swing back and then you're on.
Yeah, that was pretty much the game, but you're trying to advance, and I don't know. For me, I thought that was a pretty fun game.
It was a bad episode of Sliders.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Isn't it funny to look back now, though, and look back and see the kind of stuff that would have left an impression on you as a kid, the kind of things that were scary to you as a kid. Like I told you that Battletoads level was a core memory of mine. There are a few video game related core memories that I have. Battletoads is one of them. There's the boulder that you're running from in that level. You're dropping down through the tunnels or whatever. You're trying to escape that boulder. Another one is the Battletoads level where you're in the rocket ship and it's kind of like Flappy Bird where you're going up and down and trying to avoid everything. And it's just crazy to me. Like the other one for me is Metroid 2. Like at the very end of the game with that skeleton dragon. I don't know if anybody played. I don't know how one of you played that game.
Super Metroid was the big one that came out for Super Nintendo that everybody had a big thing, and that was crazy. Watching Ripley go from the graphics of the Nintendo over to there, and I mean that's one of those games that they carried over to the GameCube and all these other things. Like they improved on the graphics, and it was insane to watch. Like I said, one of my favorite Super Nintendo games is always going to be the classic Super Mario because I mean that game was so far like crazy from when you had Mario just doing the do 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 that music takes you back to Christmas morning opening up a Super NES and riding Yoshi for the first time with you flying, beating the Koopa kids. It was amazing.
Yeah, Brian, Zelda is still a solid. Absolutely, man. Absolutely. Like I mean for NES, man, like I'm telling you, this weekend I'm starting the original Legend of Zelda again. I'm gonna take my son downstairs with me, get him away from his PlayStation, and be like, "Listen, let's play this. Let's see if you can beat this game." Because
was the original on this one? I know Link to the Past was.
No, original was NES.
Okay, so yeah, Link to the Past was what they came out with.
Yes. So A Link to the Past. Did you sell that yet? By the way, Mike, you sold that, didn't you? Of course you did. It didn't last long. If I got a Super Nintendo, I would want to get that game. I need to get the new Hyperkin though. I need to get the one that can play all that shit eventually. Then I can get it. But that's so fun.
Get one that can play all the consoles.
I did. I sold.
I want the fucking big one eventually.
The big one is the way to go because that thing plays everything.
Five consoles.
yeah, it's cool to have the whole setup where you have like the cubes with like the GameCube, the Super Nintendo, the regular Nintendo, the Nintendo 64, this, and it looks amazing with the setup. But I mean, like, space is a thing, and are you it's cool to stare at, but then after a while you're kind of like, wow, it's just dusting that thing off, and it's like, are you really gonna play it? That's where kind of the 3-in-1 is pretty amazing. Even for the Super Nintendo and the Nintendo one, those things are incredible. Like, we had it hooked up to the TV the other night. We were playing Link to the Past on it, and like, it was just fun to sit there and kind of be like, oh my god, this game takes me back to way back when. And you got to catch the bee, put it in the jar, and do all that stuff. And it was
So Ooh, Jared on top of the sounds, man. I tell you what,
Jared
the one that I liked, and again, I don't have a huge knowledge of all the SNES games. I don't. But the one that I really enjoyed was the Donkey Kong from SNES.
Donkey Kong Country Returns.
So yeah, when I was living in one of my apartments years and years ago, when my son was really little, we had a garage attached to the apartment, and in that garage, I set up a little space on the side of it, enough for a TV. I had a Super Nintendo, an N64, and an NES set up in there, and our couch was an old van bench seat that I sat in front of the TV. And we played Super Nintendo. We would play Donkey Kong and a few other games. And the Donkey Kong, my son and I sat there and played that forever. That's one of the games that really got my kid into gaming, was Donkey Kong.
Well,
That was a good one. I like.
It's got to be one of my
Donkey Kong
favorites.
Country.
Donkey Kong Country, yes.
Oh, I gotta remember that. A big one was like Spider-Man versus Venom Maximum Carnage, which came with the crimson red case that everybody was big into. This was the big console that even really got people into Street Fighter. I mean,
Oh, yes.
Street Fighter Turbo came out for it. A couple of Star Wars games.
Yeah, that was the Street Fighter 2 that came out on the SNES. I can't remember what Turbo was like.
It was what got Madden. It wasn't the first Maddens, but this was Madden. Like, I think it was like 94 came out for it. That got people in a lot of the sports games. It was the console that, you picked up and you got to play Star Wars games on. You got to play
Empire Strikes Back, I think it was.
So
yeah, that sounds right.
y'all want a fun fact? Here's a fun fact about Corey for everybody. I still remember the Madden 2000 theme song to this day. I remember the whole song, and I sing it more often than I probably should for fucking PlayStation when it came out for the original PlayStation. Fucking love it. Anybody else have that where you remember a theme song to a video game, or I don't know, a movie or a show from way back when, and you haven't played it or watched it since then, and you have no business remembering it?
Was
Unless
that
you remember it?
Ludicrous?
It might have been Ludicrous. It might have been. Man, get out the way and watch out as I come through. Busting in your line, cracking helmets in too.
Get out my way and watch out as I come through. Busting in your line, cracking helmets in. I bring the bang, so what you gon' do? Stand there and just get shook out
your shoes.
Out your locker, I'm out to get you. Cause I just popped you. You can't take the pressure.
Fucking awesome. I love it. I forgot that it was him who sung it. I just know Ludicrous. It was like hip hop. Fucking awesome.
Oh, it's
so cool. So much.
Can't forget about Earthbound. That was the big one that came out for SNES. Everybody's like, Earthbound.
I can't remember if I played Earthbound.
Here's one you'll remember. Super Mario RPG that came out for that thing.
I did play Super Mario RPG.
There was a Super Mario RPG. Tell me more.
And there was a secret level where you had to fight a Final Fantasy boss on it, because there's the same guys who made the Final Fantasy made that game, and you had to go to the secret level and you had to fight, I think it was Ultimate Weapon.
What? Get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, it was developed by Square.
You had to fight Ultimate Weapon. It was Super Mario RPG on SNES?
Think so.
So you had to fight Ultimate Weapon, which came out on the original PlayStation.
With Bowser and Mario and whoever else you had, and he beat your ass 7 ways to Tuesday if you did not get the right power-ups for fighting him.
Was that around the same time? Well, I get because PlayStation came out in what, 96, 97?
Something like that.
SNES was around that time too, huh? No.
Well, you also have to remember,
man.
this was the renaissance of RPGs too. I mean, Chrono Trigger came out for this thing. That game was huge.
Chrono
Man.
Trigger.
Chrono Trigger was the guy who did. Chrono Trigger was huge. It was the artwork was done by the guy who did Dragon Ball Z.
Akira Toriyama. Yep.
Toriyama, God rest his soul,
to-
did the artwork for that game. It was incredible. It's one of the most solid, if not one of the best RPGs ever made. That was incredible. That was all Super Nintendo.
I need to play Chrono Trigger still. I think I can get it on the PlayStation Store, and if I can, I'm going to get it. So please remind me next week when my payday happens to be that I need to get Chrono Trigger. Because as I stated pre-show, I can't afford anything this week because PPL would scoff at me.
Well, I remember Star Fox coming off of this too. That was big.
Hi, Aaron. Aaron, we're talking retro games tonight, Aaron. We're talking Super Nintendo. And I know as far as gaming goes, retro games are right up your alley.
Yes.
Did you have a Super Nintendo growing up?
Fuck yeah. Who didn't besides you?
Besides me, right?
You went right
Clearly-
to PS1.
I was gonna say clearly he was either listening in on the way home or he looked me up on Wikipedia. I don't know.
No, you told me a while back you went right from the Nintendo to PS1.
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah, clearly my parents didn't love me enough.
That's fucked up. Let's have a talk with Big Don.
Yes. Have a talk with Big Don.
SNES is badass, dude. I don't know how you missed all that shit. Donkey
Speaking
Kong
of, I mean,
Country.
Just to sidetrack real quick, Aaron, maybe we should get him on the show.
It's
Tell
right
some
there,
stories.
Corey.
I concur.
Right there.
Oh yes, Mike had something to say to you, Aaron.
What's that?
Your Nintendo's over here. He's ready for pickup whenever you're ready.
Fuck yeah, I'll be down after the stream is over.
Yeah, baby.
Actually, that's right. Oh shit.
So, as far as the Super Nintendo goes, Aaron, what was your favorite title from the Super Nintendo?
Oh, I'm gonna say Donkey Kong Country, and it's a toss-up between that and the Super Mario World.
Not
Just
Super
because-
Punch-Out?
No, I hated when they left Punch-Out out of the 8-bit game. There's nothing going to beat the original Punch-Out. I'm sorry.
Mike,
Mike, one title, if you remember, it was called Mario Paint, and it actually
Oh,
came.
that was so fun. I remember that game.
Mike,
But yeah.
I wanted to ask you, and maybe I'll ask Jared too to see what he thinks. Like I mentioned Metroid before. Metroid 2 on the Game Boy was one of my favorite games. And, I think that the series itself did absolutely fantastic. Do you ever see them doing anything else with the Metroid series? Do you see them reviving it?
They just made a new game, I think, not that long ago for the Switch.
Where
Metroid's
the
alive
fuck
and
have
well.
I been?
Samus is doing just fine. She's in Smash Bros. She's got her own game. She's got a hell of a following. People love her.
Yeah,
I
Metroid
know.
Dread
There it is.
on the Switch.
On this, when did that come out?
That came out.
So I know they did one, but I thought it was years and years ago at this point. I didn't realize it was recent.
October 8th, 2021.
Wow.
Okay.
Do you remember
Corey,
a
do you
big
have a
pop
Switch?
that year?
Well, my kids have a Switch. They kind of fucked up their controllers for it, or Joy-Cons, whatever they're called. Yeah, they fucked those up.
Do you have the Nintendo Online subscription?
No.
Dude, that's badass. It's you can buy a bunch of different subscriptions. So NES, SNES, Game Boy, GameCube, N64. It's like a monthly, but dude, I play that shit all the time.
Nerd.
Yes.
Well, we got to start. Listen, man, I'm gonna get my next Hyperkin whenever I can afford it here. All right, I'm gonna get the big one. I'm gonna get the one that plays a lot of different games. When I do this, we're gonna have to start going to some local flea markets and some yard sales and shit, and trying to find some of these old retro games.
Yeah.
I want to build up my collection.
You badass. There's a big market for it.
If anybody listening has retro games you want to sell, if you don't go to Dragon's Den to trade them in or sell them, message me because I might want them.
Yeah.
Donate on as part of the gaming show.
Yeah, we'll play them right here.
Play them online.
Corey, you know they're up on my web store, right? You know that, right?
I do. Mike, why don't you tell us a little bit more about your website?
Well, dragonsden570.com was our little thing we got started with. People were like, you need to get your web store up. You need to get your web store up. Fine, I'll put it up. I actually just revamped it, and we just put I'm starting to put some retro stuff up there. Like they're up there. The Hyperlink Hyperkin consoles are up there. We're starting to put some retro games up. The problem is we have to test run the games. I'm not going to sell broken games. I'm not going to sell these things that are like, it's great that you have, Link to the Past or Mario 64 or whatever. If it doesn't work, what good is it for you? You bought it, you're pissed off the thing's broken, and then it's, you're mad. So we have to test run clean everything before we ship it out. But we are slowly building that up. We can order it, we'll ship it to you, and I have been known to drop extra stuff in the box. You order enough stuff. The last console we sold,
extra goodies.
Yeah, the last console we sold, the Hyperkin, the Game Boy one? I threw a copy of Pokemon Blue into the box.
Oh, nice. That's awesome. You threw a fucking Pokemon Blue into there, man. That's
I sure did.
It's the lottery, baby.
They look pretty sweet. Yeah, the Retron SQ.
Yep. Fucking dope.
Now, Mike, are these consoles you're selling HDMI plug-in?
Yes. You do not need old TVs. You do not need the old box. Your beautiful new flat screen glass thing you bought, you could plug it right into that and just play.
Yep. And then I think Mike, I think the coolest thing about them is that not only can you plug it in HDMI, right? It hooks up to any new TV that you have. I think the coolest thing about it is that you can change the ratio. You can go with an original 16:4 ratio, or you could do widescreen.
Really?
You could fill the whole screen with it. Yes.
Nice.
It's so cool. And I mean, like, if you got yourself a big screen TV, like I got like a 60-inch TV or whatever in my room, doing the 16:4, like the original ratio, that's cool. Like, you got plenty to see on there. But if you got a smaller screen, you could stretch that bad boy out to a widescreen fit, and it looks wonderful, man. It's a little widescreen. It's cool. I like it. It's a nice feature.
Well, we're getting demos in, so if you want to try it before you buy it, I'm never opposed to you slapping on the one TV we have over here. Try it. See if you like it first. I don't want you dumping $130 on something that you think is just garbage. Try it.
Absolutely.
Bring your copy of whatever.
And this right here, let me tell you guys real quick. I know he's an amazing sponsor. He's a part of the show now. We plug this often, but this is why. Okay, guys, this is why we urge everybody to shop local. This is why small towns matter. This is why this kind of stuff is good. You just listen to the stuff he's saying. You come in, you test it out right there so you can see the quality of what it is you are going to purchase. You're not going to get that at a bigger store. You're not going to get that.
Like when Aaron comes down to grab his, if he wants to throw it on the TV and test play something real quick, go ahead. I don't care.
I've spent many an hour at the Den on my Switch on the TVs just playing games.
Fuck yeah.
And my son basically lives there.
Community is great, man. That's why I love that's why I love this small town. I'm telling you, man. A lot of people like to knock it, but
is he behaving himself tonight?
He is behaving himself, yes.
Surprised.
Good to hear.
He hasn't been banned yet. I'm really surprised that hasn't happened at least once. I'm sure he's been close, but
well, beatings until morale improves. You know how that goes.
It's one thing, and to piggyback off Corey, this small town stuff. This is a very family-orientated store as well. It's a very welcoming environment. You can leave your kids. Well, I wouldn't say leave your kids there for days on end, but Mike is very good with the kids that are there too.
Eric, can I show you something amazing? And this
Sure.
Mike is basically other dads to a lot of kids.
Oh God, you got GameCube stuff. Now you got to get a GameCube console, bro.
It's sitting over there getting cleaned. That game is so hard to find. And I had some Super Nintendo games I was going to show off on the show tonight, but I sold them all like an hour ago. And I was like, well, never mind for that. So, oh well.
You got to try to track me down a copy of Wizards and Warriors for the original NES.
Shall be so.
Wizards and
I told him to look for a game called Werewolf for me for the original NES.
Yes, that too.
You know that one?
Absolutely. Hell yeah. Dude, we spent hours.
First person. You are the first person I've ever spoken to and mentioned this game to that knew what it was. It's got the yellow label with the werewolf breaking through it.
Werewolf on the front. Yep.
Hey, Jared,
you pick up the little W to turn into a werewolf. Yeah, that's a game. That's a hard game.
So how many sleepovers
007.
were this?
Yeah, buddy. That's a tough one to
GoldenEye.
get a hold of too.
This was a sleepover like staple at every kid's house. Was like 4 controllers and nobody's allowed to be odd job, and like there's no golden guns. And that was a huge part.
Yes.
Nintendo basically ruled the world, and
Yep.
Super Nintendo was one of the big consoles that got everybody into it.
Dude, how true was that statement though? Nobody's allowed to be odd job, no golden guns. Yeah. Oh my god.
Golden guns were the
All right.
There
Was there in the early days. Were there any SNES games that you found particularly challenging? I mean, Zelda games to me are always challenging.
Any Zelda game's challenging. That could be the first one.
Contra 3 Alien Wars was challenging.
Ooh, I've never played that one.
Contra's
I spent a good time on Earthworm Jim. Like,
That one I did.
I guess
play.
there was a little bit of challenge to it.
Mega Man
now-
X2 was a challenge.
Mega
Correct.
Man.
Correct me if I'm wrong. Wasn't Lion King on SNES?
It was
Genesis and
it
SNES.
was so Aladdin too.
Aladdin. Now, I have that combo for the PlayStation. It came with a package deal for $20. Aladdin, Lion King. If you ask me, those are 2 of the most challenging games I've ever played. Now, I didn't play them on SNES. I played them on Sega Genesis. Still, it counts. Those games are hard as shit.
You know how many times I got pissed off trying to escape the Cave of Wonders on that fucking magic carpet?
We were just doing this on the PlayStation last week, man.
Yep. Oh,
I had my kids playing it,
So
and I'm like,
mad.
Bro, I'm like, dude, watch. I got this, kids. I got this. I'll do it. I couldn't fucking do it. I
Nope.
was so mad. I was like, dude, I used to be so much better at this. I used to get it all the time, man.
Big game on the Super Nintendo I almost forgot about. Mortal Kombat 2.
Yeah, Mortal Kombat 2 is on there.
I had
And
that
that
on
is
Sega.
the pinnacle of fighting. Like for Mortal Kombat games, Mortal Kombat 2 was like the pinnacle. This was like the greatest thing to ever happen to Mortal Kombat.
I loved Mortal Kombat 2. Loved it. But again, see, guys, y'all had SNES. I had Sega Genesis, which tended to have a lot of the same games. But I loved Mortal Kombat 2.
Well,
Loved it.
Sega Genesis does what Nintendo. So
Nintendo.
there was a game that they were going to release for Super Nintendo, but they ended up releasing on Sega. Was Road Rash?
Mhm.
Did you ever play Road Rash?
No.
That was fun.
I did not play Road Rash, but I played a game on Sega that I would put a couple bucks on the fact that I don't think any of you have played this game. And it is called Skitchin.
Bless you.
I win some money. So
Skitchin?
this game was called Skitchin. You were a rollerblader, and it was rollerblade racing. And you would hold on to the bumpers of cars and try to propel yourself forward. Now you could pick up chains and tire irons and fucking crowbars and attack the other rollerbladers as you're on the same bumper.
Who the hell played that game? Sounds
Me. Dude, I loved this game. Loved it. This was one of my favorites, man. Yes. Yes. Yeah. Oh my god, I love it.
Blacker.
Oh man.
So our options are Canada and what else?
You had to make your way through the whole circuit. Satsui. And you could see like on the bottom, you see like it's your rear view mirror. You can see the cars coming up, and that's what skitching is. You're hitching a ride as you're skating. You're skitching.
See, we couldn't show this to kids nowadays because they'd actually be doing this shit.
Christian, come here.
Like
He's already done. Do not. No.
That is one of my favorites, bro. Oh, and it was Sega Genesis.
That was like Road Rash.
Kind of.
Yeah.
That's what made me think of it. You said Road Rash. I'm like, yeah, bitch, skitching. Let's go.
The first day, NSCS.
The first day that I'm going to skip that for one sec, Jared. The first day that Braden was driving, Christian had his longboard and thought it would be a smart idea to hold on to the tailgate as Braden was driving down West Street, and I was coming up West Street, and I lost my shit. Braden lost his truck, and Braden and Christian had to stay home for the day. I was pissed. So don't show him anything because he will do it.
Show him.
Now, Corey, there's one thing I thought you would mention by now. Getting it? You get it?
Which one is that? Is that 2?
6.
That's 6.
It's
Okay.
Final Fantasy.
See,
6,
that's
but
one I'd get to
technically
play. That's the next
2
one I'm going to
or
play.
whatever.
So you haven't played that then?
I have not played 6 yet. 6 is
Okay.
the next one on my list to play. For some reason, I'm like, listen, I'm weird. Okay, I did not play. All right, I played 1, and then because I didn't have Super Nintendo and I went straight to PlayStation, I played 1, and then I played 7, and from 7 on, I played. I never played 2 through 6. They're in the PlayStation store. They've been there for years. I never got them until this year. I'm like, well, I got to go chronologically, right? So I started with Final Fantasy 2. And I'm going to go ahead and assume that's the most boring one out of all of them.
They're so boring Final Fantasies. Come on now.
So, well, the next time we do a Final Fantasy episode, we can talk about this, but the leveling system is different. I know a lot of people didn't like it. I thought it was kind of interesting. I was cool with it. But from everything I hear, I really should have played 6 first.
I started
That's
with 7. So
The next one is 6. I'm going to play 6 next.
7, 6. Then go from whatever you want.
9 and 8.
9,
10.
8. I mean, 8's got that draw system that's awful, but whatever.
Yeah, that's why I wasn't so keen on it. The story was pretty cool, the sorceress and everything. But yeah, that draw system, I hated that. Like, it goes away from the traditional MP. Like, I thought it was weird. But whatever. I'll play 6 next. 6, which is supposedly the best Final Fantasy in the series and was on SNES.
Well, yeah, because the villain won.
Why'd you
I
tell
could
me?
argue
didn't
that.
know.
I still think 7 greatest of all time.
Listen, I know it's Jared. I'm with you, okay, and Mike might not be, but I'm with you,
right
and
to
I
be
know it's all right to be right. I know that it's probably a lot. It probably has a lot to do with nostalgia, because that what like to me. All right, it's the whole thing with 7. Okay, when I was a kid and I had my Nintendo and I had my Sega Genesis and I was 12 years old, the first time that I saw an ad for Final Fantasy 7 on the TV, I lost my shit. Bro, listen, when I was that age, I had no idea there was a 2 through 6. No idea. I saw this ad. I was like, Final Fantasy 7? 7? What? And I saw that it was on PlayStation. This is a new console to me. The artwork was awesome. It was 3D. I was like, this is badass. So I was lucky enough to get a PlayStation for Christmas. And when my parents were sly, baby. My parents were sly. They gave me the game first because, they think it's funny. we're gonna give him a game. He's gonna be like, what am I gonna do with this game? And then we'll pull this out afterwards. So then I got the PlayStation. I was fucking excited. But like it's you got that nostalgia of it, seeing the ad, getting it for Christmas, but the story. Like I remember Sephiroth as this insane villain, OP as fuck, so incredible in the cutscenes. Like reading the stuff that he said, the stuff he believed, I thought it was so cool.
See, we can get into it,
so I can't say it.
We can get into a whole nother episode about.
Oh yeah, we did, but Kafka still won. Sephiroth didn't.
We will, but when we do the next episode on Final Fantasy, if we're going to talk about this, we'll get in depth with the story and the characters. 2 Fridays from now, I'll yell at you.
You know what's a big one I keep
forgetting? We're going to do some more
mention?
Final Fantasy in 2 weeks.
Yeah, a big one I'm forgetting, and it's an Aaron favorite, Castlevania. Castlevania came on the Super Nintendo. It was a big one that everybody
sure did.
That was good.
I forgot this. I forgot this too. When they came out with Super Mario All-Stars on SNES, I was never. Super Mario 2 is my favorite Mario game ever, and I was never fortunate enough to have a copy of it.
Who the fuck likes Super Mario 2 the
Dude,
best?
I love it. I love it.
It was good.
I love it.
It is really good.
Yeah.
You got, oh my God, maybe I'm a snob because I fucking hated it.
Really?
Yes. Loved Super Mario 1, loved 3.
3 was
when
close to my favorite, but I loved
when I was a
2.
kid, 2 pissed me
You didn't
off
kill
because
Wart,
it was
did
so
you?
different.
I loved killing Wart.
You didn't kill Wart, did you?
He probably never got to Wart.
He was a giant frog at the end that you got to kill.
Oh,
Dude, I always got like halfway to 3/4 of the way through it. I would always play Princess because she could float. But God,
I love Luigi's legs. That was awesome.
Wiggle, wiggle, wiggle.
Fighting triclides and stuff. The desert levels. That was so much fun, dude.
Oh God, that was my least favorite Mario game.
But when all of those were on the one with the lost levels, I don't think I left my thing for a couple of days. Like I just sat in front of the SNES playing that.
That was the problem when we test ran one of the Super Nintendo consoles in the back. Was like I had, I think, Maximum Carnage in, and people are like, hey, I gotta get wrung out. And I was like, yeah, in a minute. And my wife is like, no, now you're going to bring them out.
You remember you're running a store here, right?
Yeah, she's like, you're running a business here. I'm like, oh, that's what I do for 12 hours a day.
They'll wait.
No, I forgot. Killer Instinct came out on
Killer Instinct. Holy crap.
God, we're talking about, I know you guys are talking about Super Nintendo, but I keep thinking about games that I remember from being a kid. The one I loved was Primal Rage. Y'all talked about Mortal Kombat. I loved Primal Rage on Sega.
Well, Primal Rage was an arcade first, and I think it went out on the Sega next, and it was a big game. And like, it was sitting in between Mortal Kombat and Street Fighter and all those other ones that came out in the arcade games. And that was just one that everybody got on because those, the kids got Marvel versus Capcom when that game dropped from the arcade, when the big cabinet came out. There was kids just camping out there. They had $40 worth of quarters just beating that machine, playing it. It was huge.
God, man, like we talked about this before too, but man, if we could open up an arcade nowadays and get new titles in that kind of arcade, the money I feel like we could make, I think it would be a great business.
I don't know.
Charged by the hour.
Listen, okay, so here's the thing. Here's the thing, and here's why I say that, Mike. It's because everything comes full circle. When you look at style, it comes full circle. You look at the kids nowadays and the shit that they're wearing, it's full circle back to like the 80s and the 90s. There's only so much that you can do before you recycle old ideas. And that's being shown in Hollywood every single day. It's being shown in video games. People are copying ideas from the past over and over again.
But reviving like Top Dog back in Scranton is a different story. Like if I had the backer to do it, I would. Trust me.
Listen, I think that if you have the right market, if you're in the right area that needs somewhere for people to go to enjoy themselves, I think that if you can do this and do it properly, it's a moneymaker. I do. I think you have I think you have to have some of the old retro games for the older fucking gaming heads like us. Okay, you got to have some of those old titles that we are going to remember. We're going to see the nostalgia in it and we're going to love it. And then you have to have some shit that's going to attract the attention of the younger generations.
Yeah.
You see some of these newer games coming out. Like, all right, so I understand a lot of shit nowadays. We've talked about this too, that a lot of shit nowadays, it's all the online games, it's all the multiplayer games, it's all the stuff with the microtransactions. But if you can somehow figure out how to utilize and turn into like an arcade game, something like Fortnite or Call of Duty. Like you saw all the shooter games back in the day at like Fun and Games or Top Dog. You had like the little pistols that you shoot at the screen.
Hogan's Alley.
Those
Oh
are
my God.
those are some of my favorite games to play, like the Jurassic Park ones. They got a Halo one, like the ones where you can just pick it. Yeah, pick up a gun and.
If you do that with a newer style of game,
Yeah.
like I feel like you could have people that want to have birthday parties there that are just going to drop quarters, or I mean, now they use preloaded cards in these arcades.
I don't want to knock the one arcade. I'm not going to mention its name because I don't want to start. But they have like a birthday party thing set up in the back, and they have like, oh, we're the arcade in the mall again, and we're awesome and we're great. It's all like win prize games. There's very little like actually. It's actually like very little like actually go play the game. They have like Fire Team Raven, they have like a racing game, and then like everything is like win this PS5, put $50 worth of tokens into this thing. Hey, win this, win that. And it's like that's not an arcade.
Yes.
You could have a few of those things. You could have a few of the like the crane machines and the claws and all that stuff and the win the PS5, whatever. But it's like, why am I coming in here if there's no like God, at least throw a, for God's sakes, at least throw a Time Crisis or a DDR machine in here.
So here's the thing. Those games that you're talking about, those ticket games, those are not social games. Like when I went to the arcade as a kid, when I went to Fun and Games, I'm not going to call it by the acronym because people are going to get offended by the acronym. But when we went to Fun and Games back when I was a kid, like it was to hang out with people. You stand at an arcade game, and you play the game together, see if you could beat it.
Well,
like they don't have stuff like that anymore.
Well, when
people do.
Yeah.
Like the convention that I went to, they had a section in the back where they had arcade and like a, I don't know, maybe 30, 40 arcade games in a corner, but there were some arcade games I've never seen before. They could be from out of the US, but the style of them, like they were made to play with, like they had like a row of 4 where you were playing with the person next to you and stuff like that. And so there's arcades, there's games out there like you probably never seen, but people have them. So I mean, you could develop them. On TikTok, I watch people like turn their tablets and they build something around a tablet and turn it into like a pinball machine, right? Like, I mean, they build these machines like a tabletop game, right? Coffee table where it's all tabletop games. It's all touchscreen and stuff like that. So, I mean, if people got creative, they could do what you're saying. They could make some of these games into an arcade.
Mike, how long have you been in this area? Were you here when you were a kid?
Yeah, I came to Fun and Games as a kid, but I mean, I was in Moscow, Scranton area, so for me it was Top Dog. It wasn't.
So, do you remember? And this has nothing to do with the story. I'm sorry, it's just a memory. Do you remember in the middle between Fun and Games and Pizza Hut, or maybe it might have even been in Pizza Hut, right inside the door? I don't remember. There was an arcade game for the Ninja Turtles. But instead of being like a stand-up arcade game, you sat down and there was another screen on the other side of it. Someone else could sit down and play with you.
That's cool.
That was the coolest thing to me as a kid, man. I thought it was so cool. Like, I feel like we've gotten away from all that cool socialization type of shit when it comes to video
because we gave
games.
all the money to pay per whatever, and we gave all the money to microtransactions, and we give kids aren't playing games. Kids are playing on their cell phones and paying per whatever skin on Fortnite or whatever it is. It's that whole kids forgot what video gaming actually was, and it's like. Kids don't even play games anymore. Kids go on YouTube and watch another guy play a video game, and they're like, "This is great." And it's like, No, this is awful. Like,
Listen, when I first got okay, so this is how I met Jared. I was streaming on Twitch. Before I streamed on Twitch, I had someone tell me, "Oh, hey, you should really try out Twitch." I'm like, "Listen, like I love video games. Nobody's going to watch me play. No one's going to want to pay to watch me play video games." Let me tell you how wrong I was.
Yeah.
Let me just tell you how wrong I was, because there was a year when I made almost $1,500 streaming a video game. Like, no, it's not a full-time job, but it was like 3 nights a week for 2 hours each night, and that was it.
Well, look at Markiplier and all those guys. That's what they made their foundings on, was just playing a video game and being reaction videos, all that crap. But now Aaron can make $20 million by eating peanut butter and people going like make some stupid sound effects behind it, and there it is.
Yeah,
Are you making fun of my peanut butter Twix that are no longer existent?
I love that you've been commenting that on literally everything we post on.
I miss those
page.
things, bro.
I love it.
I miss them.
I love
That's the
peanut butter
best Twix.
You know
It's
you
the
can
best
make
Twix.
them, right?
It's not the same,
No.
Michael.
People
I know
can
it's not
make
the same,
them.
but
I
you
don't know.
can make them.
People can make them. I don't know if Aaron can make them.
I don't want to make them. Fuck no.
I can't make them.
They're probably in Canada or something. You probably just have to go up there and get them.
All right. So if I ever win the lottery,
Oh my God, your
All
cat
right.
is amazing.
He's an
if
asshole.
if I ever win the lottery, guys, we're opening an arcade. Okay. I think we can fuck up Dave and Buster's.
I'm
first
saying we do a compound, right? Everybody lives right next to each other. All right. And then in the middle, it's just a big old gaming warehouse.
Well, there's the other thing. If I do ever win the lottery, y'all, we are having a compound. We will have our own little commune. Don't you
The
worry.
ultimate man cave. But let's think about this before you say that, Jared. The smells that will emit from Justin's house. Are you sure you want to deal with that?
we put them in the back.
Okay.
We'll give him many filters.
Yes. His own exhaust system.
We'll be in like a biodome or something, right?
Yes.
Well, before we wind down, because I always like to test Mike's knowledge, because he's got a lot of knowledge in video games. I've always come up with questions. So we're gonna test Mike's knowledge. And if you guys know the answer,
We
then
don't
you
have a
guys can
stinger,
guess.
do we?
No, we don't have a stinger. I didn't make one.
We need to make
But
a stinger
I
that
need
says,
to.
"What
Yeah.
does Mike know?"
What does Mike know? Yeah.
Or how much?
A
does
lot of
Mike know?
nothing. That's
Ask the
nonsense and deep
Romansky.
thoughts. That's what I know.
Yeah. So what we're gonna test it a
useful.
little bit. So I came up with some questions.
Hold on. I wanna see
First
Aaron's cat
one.
again.
Which fighting game on the SNES was the first to introduce combos?
Was it Street Fighter 2 Turbo?
Street Fighter 2. So you were 50% correct. The World Warrior. Yeah, Street Fighter 2, the World
I
Warrior.
forgot that Street Fighter 2 was on SNES.
They did the Street Fighter 2, then they did Street Fighter 2 Turbo, but it was Street Fighter 2.
I'm gonna give it to you. I mean, you said Street Fighter 2. What were the first 2 games released for it?
For the Super Nintendo?
Yes.
If I'm not mistaken, it was Super Mario World, and it was a Pilot Wings?
F-Zero.
F-Zero.
I mean, that's
So close.
kind of fucking close.
That's close as shit. I knew it was F-Zero, but man, that's pretty good for you.
How the hell do you know that?
I got the
knowledge.
Love
the
it.
first 2
That's
games
what-
that I owned.
Fucking love it.
Aaron, Corey, Corey's not gonna know shit.
I'm not gonna know shit, guys.
Aaron,
I
if
don't
you know
shit.
it.
I'm here to direct. Okay.
In which SNES game does Mario ride Yoshi for the first time?
Was it not the first Super
Super
no,
Mario World.
it was Mario World. But then Yoshi got his own game with Yoshi's Island, or was
Yoshi's Island.
Yoshi's Island, and that was a big game because Mario got shrunk into a baby, and they had to go around, and you got to play as Yoshi, and you got to throw
Got
the
stuck
eggs.
in the bubble and shit.
Yep.
You see why I quiz Mike? Because look, he just knows everything.
You know what? One of my favorite Super Mario games was for the original Game Boy. It was called Super Mario Land.
Yeah.
Yes.
Super Mario Land, and I loved this one because I got my mother to play it with me.
It's also on the Nintendo Online subscription if you have a Switch, buddy.
Ooh, way to plug that
I need to
in
get myself a new controller for the Switch. I need to hook it up to the main TV in the living room, and we're good. I don't like the
I can
Joy-Con.
get those if you want.
Get the wired ones.
That's
I
what I
love it.
want. I want the wired controller because they had a Pikachu one from GameStop that they fucked up.
You'll like mine. It's a Super Mario World. It's a Super Mario Brothers 3 controller.
There you go with the Tanuki.
No, it's just a regular
Oh.
Mario, and then I have a Legend of Zelda one.
Let me ask these guys when we go see what kind of controllers they have. We could probably get you one mailed over.
Hell yeah. Baller.
So, what was the first SNES game to use the Super FX chip?
Star Fox.
Star Fox.
God damn. Yeah, baby.
In the game Super Metroid, on which planet does the game take place?
Oh my god.
Can't help
Like
you.
Terra 4 or something like that. If it's got some stupid name behind it. It's a name and a
Zebes.
number, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, Zebes.
I don't
What?
know.
Zebes?
Zebes, whatever.
Zebs.
How many lives does the moon give it to the player
3.
in Super? Yeah.
You didn't even get through it. I love
What
it.
was the name of the sumo wrestler playable in Street Fighter 2?
Oh my god, what the hell's his name?
Oh fuck. E Honda.
E Honda.
Right.
It was E Honda.
Honda.
I mean, I was Sammy and Jury.
I was gonna say E
Blanca.
Blanca. Yeah, E
Blanca
Honda.
was the green guy, wasn't
Was
he?
the green dude. It
That was
bit your head and
Blanca.
shocked you.
Or you could do like low kick Ryu and not have any friends.
E Honda, Anubracon. Welcome to the show. Thank you for chiming in. We love having you here.
Which SNES game features a character named Tara Branford?
Oh,
Jesus, what the hell was that? Was that Streets of Rage?
We talked about this earlier.
what was I say? Was that a Final Fantasy game?
Yeah, it was Terra.
Wasn't
Terra.
Terra in 6?
Terra was in 6. It was the one that Kefka was going. That was like the whole Kefka thing. That was, yeah, that was Terra.
Fuck you, Kefka.
What's the name of the main villain in Link to the Past?
Ooh.
Oh,
Well, I mean, the classic is going to be what the hell's Ganon? But
Ganon.
there was a different one. There was a wizard at the time. I forget the
You were
wizard's
correct. It's still Ganon.
It is
Ganondorf.
Ganon.
Isn't it Ganondorf or something like that?
Ganon.
name. Yeah, it was Ganondorf, but it was Ganondorf. But it was the wizard was like the main thing. If I'm not mistaken, there was a wizard that was like kind of started
Gandalf?
the whole trouble thing.
Just kidding. It's not Gandalf.
Gandalf, baby.
All right. So, which SNES game is known for its Mode 7 graphics?
Was it F-Zero?
Racetracks. Think racetracks and think of your favorite game.
Super Mario Kart.
There you go.
Mario Kart?
Oh,
It was Mario Kart, wasn't it?
graphics, baby.
Well, that's not my favorite racing game, but it's up there.
Well, your favorite SNES game was Super Mario World.
It was.
I do love Need for Speed. That's my favorite.
So I want to play a theme
Hot
real
Pursuit.
quick. I want to see if you know where it's from.
We're gonna play a little name that tune.
Just one,
I'll
because
try.
I played the other themes.
We should give chat a chance to answer first.
Oh, that's Chrono Trigger. You're in the open world, or you're in the part with the old guys from Chrono Time.
That would be correct.
Who is
What
it?
was it?
Where?
Chrono Trigger.
I figured that
This-
was a Chrono Trigger sound.
Like
This one was the end of time right here.
That's the end of time where you're with the old guy, and he's like, "Hey, I can work you anywhere you want to go. This is your last chance."
Love it.
Yeah. I figured you got all of them. I'm just you
I
got
did
all
not
of them.
get all of them. Don't.
You missed one. You missed
missed
one.
one. Ooh,
Uh,
dude, you're a plethora of this knowledge. So I always came to you for shit.
that's why
What's
I'm
up,
on
KD?
nonsensical deep thoughts, Aaron.
So, as promised, though, we wanted to get into something, and me and my coworker actually discussed this today, and Mike brought it up as well. So I wanted to play the trailer for it because
Oh,
it's going to be
please
exciting. So I
please
want
do.
to play this real quick.
play the hell out of it.
So new Warhammer game. I'll let Mike go into that a little bit because he's excited for it. There's a lot of people excited for this game.
Well,
Really
it's not
seems to
just
be.
even the game itself, it's what the game is going to be that makes it like so it needs to work. We have another Dark Souls game coming out already. We have 12, it seems like, every year that come out. It's the same Dark Souls, Elden Ring, everything else, and it looks incredible. It is going to replace Helldivers. It 100% is going to replace Helldivers. The lore for Warhammer is so deep. It's so into the grim darkness of the future. There's only war. But what makes this game so important is this is bringing back the games that were like, there's no microtransactions. You're going to earn this in blood, sweat, and tears. You are going to play with your other friends in this game as other Space Marines. This is the game that's going to be like Gears of War that's coming out that it has to like exist in it because the gaming industry needs it. It needs to remember what it was. It needs to go back to being something that wasn't just microtransactions or another Call of Duty or another game that everybody just comes out with and another, I know Dark Souls is amazing and Elden Ring is incredible. It absolutely is God tier, but not every game needs to be this. Not every game needs to be a Helldivers. Not every game needs to be this mass multiplayer online. You need that single player game in your life again that brought back everything. And I really do think Warhammer has the ability to do it. The games are incredible. You can play the first one on Steam. I think it's like $12 or whatever it is now.
Yeah, the first one's so cheap.
Incredible. And if you're a Warhammer fan with this game, you can absolutely pick a chapter. So you can be the Black Templar, the Salamanders, the White Scars. You can be the Ultramarines, the Blood Ravens, whatever you want to be. And I do believe you can unlock the armors and have that be your game. Who doesn't want to be your own chapter in this game? This was incredible. And you get to carry on the thing that was Captain Titus. I believe he's a lieutenant now. He got demoted in the last game. I don't want to spoil anything, but that's not really a big thing. But it's going to be incredible. And that's going to be a big thing where this game coming in is going to be the God Savior of, the God Emperor of mankind as the Ultramarines will serve. This is going to save the gaming industry, and it absolutely has to. This is going back to co-oping when co-oping was a thing and not just having some 12-year-old on a microphone screaming racial slurs at you and calling your mother a whore. You know what I mean? Like, this is big.
Love it.
This game
like, take a breath, Mike. Take a breath.
He's
He's
breathe.
so into it. But you
Let
also
him cook.
got a lot of Warhammer like stuff in your shop, right? Like
I
little
sell a
figurines.
shit ton of Warhammer stuff in my store.
Don't I know?
Con says it's the co-op arcade game you were just talking about, just not an arcade.
Yeah.
Which is really cool. I mean, like that's we've talked about this before on the show already. We want that. We want that kind of game, that style of game to be revived. We're tired of the microtransactions. We're tired of the online gaming bullshit where it's just, it's all this BR stuff, all this, who's got the bigger dick, basically. Like this is traditional shit. I like this.
We even said with Grand Theft Auto, the new one coming out, what is the biggest concern they're saying? It's not going to be an $80 game and that's it. It's going to be an $80 game plus a monthly subscription. It's Grand Theft Auto.
You're looking at like $150, you have $160 for playing GTA 6.
So here's my problem with all these games that are considering the subscription route for what it is they're trying to do is you can only afford so many subscriptions a month. So at some point, if that's how everybody's going to go about their business, they're going to fail because people cannot get subscriptions to all of these games. So if that's the route they're going to go, they're going to screw themselves in the end.
Well, yeah, I mean, so and I was talking with a Nubercon here. He was telling me about Helldivers, and this was the reason why a lot of that kind of has lost interest was this expansion that came out. And the Game Pass, like people who have left the game for like 3 or 4 months, now have to come back and get back to the grind just to get these items on the Game Pass. And so it kind of people just lost interest. People are upset with it. So Helldivers is kind of a thing of the past now. Like I don't see a lot of people playing it.
The problem with Helldivers was it didn't learn the lessons of Destiny because Destiny did the same thing. And it kind of like, you could have looked over and I said, it's kind of the Napoleon situation where don't go to Russia in the winter. That was this situation. Be careful with what Destiny did because Destiny did the same thing. And when you leave people behind, people just give up and they just stop playing. They're not going to, they'll catch up. No, they won't. They'll just stop playing.
And so if you put a subscription service onto GTA 6, you're going to have those people who leave the game for 3 or 4 months because either one, they just don't want to pay that, or they can't afford to pay the subscription service, and then one day they decide they want to play it again, and they're so far behind. Like that's the point with the subscription service. I don't think it's a good route for any game to go.
Yep.
Well, because all they're looking at is the money. They're not looking at what's good for it.
Yeah, you've got
exactly.
You've got the old stuff like was it Warcraft and stuff like that do the subscriptions.
Yeah,
And
but I mean, they have
like
they have a
handful.
mass following though.
That's
like,
yeah, well that's the ones
not
that
going anywhere.
started this. And I heard that there was an expansion on that recently that's like a big deal.
Warcraft.
Yeah, I think it was Warcraft.
I know they have World of Warcraft. I haven't got much into Warcraft. I never really did any of that stuff, but I was big into StarCraft and StarCraft 2 and stuff like that. So
South Korea, but
yeah, Blizzard
the
Entertainment.
The big thing, as I said like before, like Space Marine 2 has to win. It has to show the industry you have to bring it back to where it was. We went too far to the side of like, Dad, can I have another $50 for an online subscription? Dad, can I have another $50 to do this? Hey, I need the Game Pass. I need this. I need that. Or I'm going to be left behind. And it's like that whole fear of being like, my friends are all going up, and Destiny was going off to Mars for the first time. It was insane. But it was a $30 pass you had to buy where it was like, sorry, you are literally watching your friends leave and you're left behind and be like, hey, thanks for playing, kids. See you later. And who wants to do that? Who wants that?
There were some good ones. Warcraft and Final Fantasy 14. 14 was good.
14 just keeps killing it. They just keep putting out more and more expansions, and the people that and Anubra's right. The people that play those games are fully committed to those games. Like
they have a following. It's not gonna go away. But
that's their entire gaming existence is those games. But that's what you're gonna get if you get all of these new games doing this. They're gonna have to choose. You're gonna have to pick and choose what game's your favorite, what do you want to invest in, and what do you want to play literally all the fucking time. That's it.
Corey,
period.
Even in here all the time, I have a ton of kids staring at the Warhammer walls and the D&D walls and all this other and the Magic stuff because they're tired of where video games are going. It's just this rehashed crap. And it's like, well, what's Warhammer? And I'm like, well, careful. It's not. You have to build it, assemble it, paint it. And for a lot of kids are like, that's kind of what I want. I'm sick of seeing the same, oh, look, another $70 video game that's the same thing as the last year's model.
And you know what? To be honest, there's only so much bullshit that you can take in the online gaming community.
Of course it can. There's only so much anybody wants to deal with. Like nobody wants to play with, like I said, the 14-year-old kid throwing crap at you the entire time. It's funny the first 6 times you hear it. After that time, you had enough.
Yeah, exactly. And dude, you're talking about kids wasting money on games and this and that and the other. My son's 13 years old and he just asked me to put $25 on our PlayStation wallet the other day. And I'm like, what do you need it for? Like, what game? You're going to get a game? What are you doing? He's like, well, I want to get some more stuff for Roblox.
That's what my son keeps asking for. He just wants Roblox.
I'm like, bro, you're 13. Roblox? That's what to change your character's appearance?
That's just $25, Corey. You know how many people spend thousands and thousands of dollars
on
or kids that steal their parents' credit cards and charge thousands of dollars for Roblox.
There's a kid who drained his parents' Disney account because he bought all these Fortnite skins and all this crap. And the mom is like, where did all this money go? And he's like, oh, there's Xbox charges for like skins and extra maps and all this other stuff. And the mom is like, that was our trip to Disney. This kid just pissed away to Xbox because he needed skins and new maps and all this stuff for Fortnite or whatever it was.
It took me an extra
to do a stupid dance, and it's like they love it.
It took me an extra 5 minutes to get on here with you guys tonight because I had to stop all the auto clickers that were set up for Roblox.
You love Roblox.
No, it's the kid behind you that's still playing it.
And I don't know if you guys have logged into Fortnite recently, but Fortnite is pretty much just a grown-up Roblox now. All the games on Fortnite kind of resemble the same style as Roblox games. Like,
I play.
Do you want to call it an adult Roblox though, man? Like I played Fortnite a little bit when they went to no build mode. They added that no build mode. That was okay. But bro, like when they started putting those one-shot things in the game, like they would do like the little anime stuff, like Kamehameha, and they would use the My Hero Academia one where it's all this one-shot shit. I'm like, nope, I'm out. I'm done. Anything that can kill me in one shot, I am out. This ain't fun. No more.
Yeah, it's called the Golden Gun back in N64.
Yes.
That's why we banned it.
Hardcore mode in fucking Call of Duty.
What was the same thing for Apex? The Kraber.
One shot. But the Kraber was hard to get. It was a care package.
It was, yeah.
And was near end game.
I thought Aaron was drinking gravy. It looked like a KFC thing at first. I thought he was just chugging gravy.
Speaking of Aaron, we're gonna play one more trailer, and you can tell your wife to watch it.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah.
Yes. So I'll go to the end of the fucking game. At the end of the show.
Oh, I like it already.
Yeah, baby.
You have no idea what you have done.
Days of my life.
Why did elfin gods walk free? All because you disrupted my ritual.
You battle against gods. They will not rest until you are on your knees. Fearful,
That's what I told my wife last night.
helpless in the face of such power.
Oh no, I already know what this is.
I've seen your work. You're clever, adaptable, and you don't know when to quit.
You want allies to go after the gods? I've got places to look.
Where do we start? I'll be damned. A griffin. In war, victory. I'm ready.
I've never seen this before. There's something kind of exciting about it.
Dragon's Age Vanguard.
I knew it.
What is happening to me?
Let the Fae draw close.
Draw the dragon out into the open. Then attack.
You and me, Rook. Maybe that's what scares me.
These are the times in which legends are born or slain.
Wearing his mother's crown.
Our gods are back. Our gods. How do we stand against that?
I believe in all of us. So let's get it done.
The Veil Guard, not Vanguard. Anubra, is BioWare the company?
Yes.
Okay, so all right. So here's my take. It looks like it'll be fun. I haven't played Inquisition yet. I'm going to start that soon. Is it just me? Am I just being a snob, or do Skyrim's dragons look cooler than this? Is it just me? Because I think the dragons and shit in Skyrim look cooler.
Hush your mouth, child. This game is going to be insane. And that wasn't a dragon.
It looks really good. It looks really good, but like for how far graphics have come, I felt like I was going to be more blown away by the graphics in that.
I thought they looked good, but you also got to have you played any of the Dragon's Age?
No, see, and that's
religiously, yes.
Can you do me a favor though, Jared? I know we want to go. It's already an hour and 20
Oh,
minutes.
we're fine.
My
Like I
wife's
have
gonna
nowhere
kill
to
me.
go.
My wife's gonna kill me.
Yeah.
But anyway, can you look up the original Elder Scrolls Skyrim ad? The original, the one that says 11 11 11. It's I will always remember this ad. 11/11/11 is when this came out. Skyrim.
No, I did the midnight release.
Yes, and it's like I looked forward to this game. I had to get this game. I'm pretty sure I bought it fairly. I didn't get the midnight release, Mike, but I did buy it like that first week it was out. Like,
So you want to compare that to that trailer? All right.
And like from 2011 to 2024. What this was back then.
You should have acted. They're already here.
This is a different ad, but yes, this one will
return. The defeat was merely a delay. To the time after Oblivion opened. When the sons of Skyrim would spill their own blood. No one wanted to believe they even existed. And when the truth finally dawned, it dawns in fire.
I hate his helmet.
You hate the iron helmet?
I hate it so much.
But there's one they fear. In their tongue, he is Dovahkiin, Dragonborn.
Who's Roda?
Was this game ahead of its time? Yes. I feel like it was way ahead of its time.
Well, that's why it's called the Skyrim standard for a lot of RPGs are coming out. Like, it's good without Skyrim good.
So, Jared, the ad that I want to share is the one that's the realism ad. Well, it's got like real people in it. I don't know if you can find that one, but it's got the Dragonborn walking into the village while everybody's running out of it. And I know
which one you're talking about. Yeah.
Let's play this one just because I want to feel the nostalgia before we leave for the night, because this ad gave me chills when I saw it.
One.
And this ad made me want the game.
I haven't seen it at all, so this will be.
Oh, love this ad. They couldn't have done a better job.
They used to loop these in GameStop. The problem was they used to loop them like every 20 minutes.
Card. Love it.
Would you think we were getting like a Skyrim movie?
Listen, I always, from the time this game came out, I have spoken to my wife about how much I want them to make a movie out of this. And I'm like, there's so much content to this game. There's so many side quests and everything, but good Lord, man, if you stuck to the main storyline of the Dragonborn and dealing with Alduin, like, shit, you could make a cool ass movie about this. You really could. They won't. They did it with The Witcher. What's holding them back on Skyrim? Listen, okay, so I was cool with The Witcher. The first season was a little confusing, the first few episodes, because they did not use timestamps in their episodes, because they did a lot of back and forth. But now that they're not using the Geralt of Rivia, I'm pissed, and I don't want to watch season 4.
Green Cable's King of the Nerds. Get over it.
Did you see Skyrim was responsible for the microtransactions? And
I saw that one. I saw his comment. They charged real money for horse armor, and the rest is history. Now, there are so many mods. I would have personally, I would have never paid money for horse armor. I would not. I didn't pay for shit. The only thing I did was pay for this game like 3 or 4 different times. I paid for PS3. I paid for PS4. I paid for PS5.
Yeah, there was some cool shit like on RDO if you played Red Dead Online, and where you can
3 was kind of iffy.
Get a bunch of stuff for your horse.
Yeah.
For your horse.
You don't have to buy it though. I mean,
Horse.
that's their whole thing.
Oh, horse.
I mean, they had whores in the game, Aaron. But
They really did.
Oh, they did. That was a thing. Prostitutes were a thing.
It was a noble profession back in those times.
Very profitable.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I know, Anubra is fucking ridiculous. But anyway,
I'm hoping that you're right, though. I'm hoping Warhammer 40K Space Marine 2 is a straight game, and you'll probably see that. I'm not entirely sure, but Dragon's Age, the Veilguard, hopefully that will be just a straight game and no microtransactions. Because I know with Inquisition, I played that, I beat that, I don't know how many times. I don't recall there could be now, but when I played it back then, it was just a straight full game. Like I didn't have to buy anything.
Before I dip for the night, yeah, that was kind of the whole big selling point behind this is you have to earn it. You have to unlock the armor.
I love that.
Buy it. Yeah,
that's perfect. Jared, what did you think of the original, real person ad for Skyrim? Did you like that?
That's pretty dope.
Would that have made you buy it back then?
Yeah. I mean, sad to say, I didn't beat the game. I played maybe an hour or 2 of it.
Get back to it.
I should.
Get it. Special edition is available still on the PlayStation. You can get it for PS5, and you can get all kinds of cool mods. So super cool.
I mean, it's a fun game. I mean, I just
You'll love
other
it.
things.
Play the
I
whole thing.
made a board game of it.
Yep. It's absolutely fantastic. So now at the end of the night, guys, I just want to let you all know we are doing something new with my wall up here now. We got a local sticker. I can't do this reverse thing here. So we got a community sticker right here. If you guys are within our own community, you want to send me a sticker, we'll throw it up here on the wall. I'm going to sticker the shit out of this entire wall. The next owner of this house is going to absolutely hate me, but you know what? Fuck them, because it's my house now. I'm going to sticker the wall. If you got stickers you want to send my way, let me plaster them all over my wall. I will advertise you and your shit. Just send them my way. That's all you got to do. We have a variety show coming up this upcoming Monday. We've got a very special guest that's going to be on 7 p.m. Eastern time. Aaron, why don't you tell us about the guest real quick?
We have a young man from Christopher Pastieri from Getty Images. He is a sports image photographer. Some of his images were actually chosen for the 2024 Topps Chrome baseball set this year. When he confirmed with us this week, he was actually shooting a Mets game. So I'm super excited to talk to him, talk a little sports, talk some of his experiences. So we'll try to get some more information out. Since I am banned from our Facebook page, I'm no longer to post information, so I'll have to forward it to somebody.
Yes.
So, but I will get that over to you guys sometime so we can make a studio and make a post for this guy, because he seems really chill. He seems really cool. So I'm looking forward to it.
It's going to be a lot of fun, guys. Make sure you tune in for that. We also have a collab silent auction or some sort that we are going to do sometime soon. Aaron took a baseball signed by Derek Jeter to get it authenticated this past weekend at FanFest. It is authentic. It is from 1997. Derek Jeter signed baseball. We are going to auction it off. We are going to donate the proceeds to the Ronald McDonald House, and we are going to do it to a local one that personally helped me and my family through a difficult time last year when our little girl was born at 33 weeks, needed emergency surgery. We were there for 52 days, and this place helped us out, so we want to give back. We're going to donate this money between the NDT podcast and our amazing guy here, Mike, down at Dragon's Den. He is the one that got us this baseball. Make sure you show him all the love. Get to his shop. Check out his website. Order some shit and have him send it to you. Amazing stuff, guys. Make sure you pay attention. Follow us over on Facebook, over on YouTube, over on Rumble, and here on Twitch as well at the NDT Gaming to check out all your favorite content. Ladies and gentlemen, until Monday, we will see you all later.
Later.
Unleashing the hive, metal tools will be waging. Join us on the journey, doing this engaging. ATT Gaming. On this never ending.